This week's Shirim of Medical Miracles are dedicated by my personal doctor, Dr. Joyce Morell. I've seen many great Siyata Dishmaya following her advice. She's in fact the doctor of my kollel. During Corona, we followed to the T everything else thing we said, and Baruch Hashem, we had great health in our kollel. And many times I followed her advice and seen very great Siyata Dishmaya. She should have bracha and atzlacha and have many patients who understand her great medical wisdom. The next gadol who I've gained incredibly from, my Rabbi, Moiri, Rosh Shiva, Rav Tzvi, Kushelevsky, Shlita, Arichas Yamim B'Shanim. Right. He told me the following idea I'd like to share with you today. That using the best doctors, why do you have to use the best doctors? What's the idea behind using the best doctors? We said that we have to cover up medical miracles with Teva, and Hashem wants us to turn to the best medical professionals we can. I mentioned Dr. Joyce Morell. I mentioned in previous year Dr. Rabbi Eli Melech Führer, the great medical advisor in Eretz Yisrael, who the Gedolim Rav Chaim told me he's Das Torah. We have to turn to the best medical advice we can, because in this way we help cover up Hashem's miracles. The more good the advice, the more it covers it up, and the more Hashem can show His medical miracles. It becomes less of a miracle, and we can see more siyata d'shmaya. Because the more good, the better the advice is, the better the doctor is, the more it's hidden, and the more Hashem will show us siyata d'shmaya. That's one reason. The second reason, my Rosh Shiva told me, incredible brilliance behind this advice. He said, when the real purpose of getting sick, we mentioned this from Rabbi Zatzal, from the Zohar, the purpose of getting sick is to do tshuva and come close to Hashem. The better a doctor is, the more amuna you need to know it's not coming from him. The Yeshua is not coming from him, it's coming from Hashem. The siyata d'shmaya is coming from Hashem. And the person has to work more on his amuna. As a story I was once told about a woman who was having an operation. Before the operation, as she was being wheeled in, she told the doctor, "Doctor, I want you to know, I believe only in the Borei Olam. If the operation doesn't work out, I don't hold you responsible. I'm not going to sue you." Completely off the hook. And the doctor was happy to hear that. But then she added, "Doctor, I want you to know, if the operation works out, I give credit to the Borei Olam. I'm thankful to you for doing it, but the credit really goes to the Borei Olam, because he is really Roi Fechinamat. He's really the true and free healer." This we have to know. But when we use very good medical care, that forces us to work very hard to know that even though this might be the best doctor in the world, and I personally believe that the doctors that I'm turning to are very great doctors, and I have very great hakaras hatov to them, but it obligates me when I use doctors such as Dr. Joyce Morell, such incredible medical wisdom, I'm forced to work on my emunah to know that it's not coming from them, even though they're very great individuals with great knowledge, but the medical miracle is not coming from them. It's only coming from Hashem Yisparach, and that we have to know. And this is why Rosh Shiva told me, one of the reasons to use such a good doctor is to work on your emunah. A person's emunah gets much stronger if he uses the best doctor. I'll close with one more concept that I heard from my Rosh Shiva, Rav Kushelevsky Shlita. I'm sitting here at the Kaisel. Tomorrow, in fact, will be the 40th day that I'm coming to the Kaisel for a certain inyan, for a certain prayer area of tefillah that I'm working on, and it's actually been a number of times I've done this consecutively since I started davening at the Kaisel. And my Rosh Shiva, Rav Kushelevsky, told me in the name of the Zvila Rebbe, he said it's also, this is a makor for it from the Gemara Yishalmi, that a person davens 40 days at the Kaisel, the tefillah will be answered. He himself and his Rebbe davened 40 days at the Kaisel. It was great Mesiras Nefesh. He's 83. It was great Mesiras Nefesh, especially on Shabbos, davening 40 days at the Kaisel. But the idea is, again, it's not a skula, is that coming 40 days to the place of the Shekhinah, that affects that this is the greatest powerful Zesh or Shamayim. It's the greatest possible place where we could daven, and certainly great effectivity davening here for 40 days at the coastal. Um, that if we could do that, or if we can enlist someone else to do that for us, then a person can see great siyata d'shmaya. Going to the place where the Shekhinah is for 40 days, and davening. 40, the Maharal says 40 is a number of Yitzirah. There are 40 days. The Mava was 40 days. Har Sinai was 40 days. A new creation takes 40 days. And when you daven for 40 days at the coast, you're creating a new reality. You're changing the reality. Someone told me that his friend davened at the coastal. He davened once 40 days, a second time 40 days, third 40 days, and finally got the shidduch. And he was wondering why it took so long. It turned out that the girl that he married had two siblings in front of him, in front of her, and after the first 40 days, one got engaged, the second 40 days, the second got engaged, and finally the third 40 days he was able to get engaged to the third sibling who was online. The tefillahs here at the coastal have very great power, and I'm thankful to my Rashiva, Tzvi Kushelevsky, for introducing me to this idea. I'm thankful to all the Gedolim they have a privilege to be close to, who have guided me with medical miracles, advised me to turn only to the Borei Olam, to realize that all of these mechanisms, they only work because our Chachamim, because our sages have told us, they have a Masorah that they work, going back who knows how far, and turning only to HaKadosh Baruch Hu when we have problems. We need a miracle, turn to Hashem, number one, turn to the mechanisms that Chazal, our sages, and that our Gedolim have advised us, number two, and number three, turning to best medical care. So we are forced to work on our Amunah, number one, and number two, that we are covering up the miracle that HaKadosh Baruch Hu provides us with. And the better the medical care, the more HaKadosh Baruch Hu can send us a medical miracle and make it look like Teva, which Hashem wants to do in the world, so there should be free choice. Hashem guides us and asks us and directs us to use proper hishtadlus, proper hishtadlus, I don't know how to say hishtadlus in English properly, but the proper way to act properly, in order that He can cover up the miracle and provide us with the greatest siyata d'shmaya. The better the hishtadlus, the more emunah that we have to have, the more covered up it is, and the more siyata d'shmaya we will see. Knowing that it's not coming at all from the medical intervention, as good as they might be, it's not coming from the medical intervention, it's coming only from Hashem. It's a tanai, it's a halacha, that we should use good medical advice. So we should all follow the words of these great sages and these great gedolim, and follow their instructions to the T, and B'ezrat Hashem, in the schus of that, we should have great siyata d'shmaya, men,